You're listening to the Chronicles of Livin podcast, where we talk to everyday people about everyday things in the past, present, and future. Now let's talk. What's going on, my visionary dreamers? This is ADionne, your dream pusher, your lifeguard, saving you from yourself, from the world, from some real bullshit. And you are listening to and viewing Chronicles of Livin TV and podcast show today. Today, I have a special guest with me. And to the newcomers out there, the show is just simply about us getting out our own way, us, finding different ways to look at life and just pursuing our dreams and our visions and our passions nonstop, getting back up on the horse when we fall off and things of that nature. So without further ado, I have with me today a beautiful guest all the way from Texas. And she is a speaker. She's a book author. She's a life coach. She's all of the above. And she does things unapologetically. She is an awesome young lady, and she is also a fellow YouTuber. And I brought her on the show today. It was a great thing. She reached out and I want her to talk about her and tell you, because she can tell you best about the things that she does and why she does them. But today's topic is, how do you commit to your dreams? How do you stay committed to your dreams? That's what we're going to be conversating about today. Okay? So without further ado, Miss Tanya Miller.
Hey, visionary dreamers. Hey, fam. My name is Tanya J. Miller of Tanya Talk with Tanya. As ADionne said, basically, I'm an author, speaker, coach, and strategist. I help you every day to figure out how to fit the puzzle pieces of life together so you do life right and well. So it very much coincides with what she shares with you guys about getting out of your own way and not allowing yourself to be stuck. And with that, what I also do is basically I help you to do life and leadership unapologetically on purpose, because you're here for a reason. You're here for a purpose, and I want to make sure that you're doing that very thing. So everything that I do, whether it's as an author with books, speaking, coaching, strategy, leadership sessions, it's all about you and the purpose that's in you, because I know there's a greater purpose in you. You just got to get to it. So
That's
definitely
right.
excited to be talking about what it means to commit to them dreams that y'all got. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
We're so excited that you decided to come on the show and share, your views on staying committed with your dreams and to your dreams in those tough times, So Tanya, tell us, first off, how did you even come across the show? Let's talk about that for a minute. How did you come across the show?
Sure. I want to say I'm either in one of the YouTube groups that you're in. I may have connected with you that way, or just do research, one of the two.
Okay.
I know that it's always a great opportunity when we can partner and collaborate, and we can lift each other and be able to support to each other. So, I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to not only provide something to your audience, but something to you as well. And you never know. Future opportunities of collaboration can be down the road. So I'm all about us growing and going together. So that's pretty much reaching out to you.
I really appreciate you. And the whole thing is we all can learn something new from each other. And that's what it's all about. And I believe if more people come together like we are and share the platform together, and we can get better views, because it's two different minds and two different journeys that we've been on. And so therefore the listeners, the viewers can always take something, little nuggets from both of us, and hopefully it'll help them to grow. But your journey, let's talk about your journey, and then you can ask me questions about my journey, because again, this is a conversation. This is not an interview. We don't do interviews here at Chronicles of Livin podcast show. We do conversations. That's what we do. Okay. So tell us, how did you even get on the path of being a life coach or a speaker, book author, if you want to break it down, what led you on that path?
Sure.
Okay.
So, I actually tell people, believe it or not, I feel like when I started looking back at my life, I've been kind of set up in a way, if you will, like set up and trained for a lot of the things that I do now. I was telling somebody recently, I said, when I started thinking back, like I've been doing public speaking since I was like 3 or 4 years old. They was like,
Right.
what? I was like, y'all know in Sunday school at church, you had to get up and talk about what you got the lesson in front of the whole church. You had to give a summary. You had to give some points. You had to give some little nuggets. I was like, so, you start doing that early on, Christmas plays, Easter speeches, plays, all different things. And I was like, so I literally was having a lot of the things that people go to Toastmasters to do. I was doing it at 3 and 4 years old.
Okay.
So I think, the speaker part kind of came naturally. But despite the fact that I'm introverted, which most people be like, girl, you lying because you sound like you're just a natural. Just because I'm a natural don't mean that I'm an introvert. I still like to go get my energy after I finish talking to all y'all and go woosah and all of that. So, so that's kind of how that's been. Like literally, I've always did something, when it came to some form of speaking. I got out of high school early, so I actually became over my church young adult ministry as a teen. I was over very early. Back in the day, I wrote plays for our church.
Wow.
I was part of, in college, I helped to write and create and illustrate a children's book. So I just to kind of see when I started looking back, like, I think I was set up on the cool, like with some of the stuff that I was doing to where I'm at now, but kind of how I got to the business Tanya J. Miller and to the brand Talk with Tanya. Probably, I think it's been 2005, so 15 years ago, I had a nonprofit. I actually had a nonprofit and I had a business. And in the nonprofit, I started kind of like, I was like, okay, I want to do like a newsletter. But it didn't end up being a newsletter. It ended up being like motivational encouragement. And so that's how it started. And then I was like, I need a name. And so somebody was like, well, I feel like when you be sending us those emails, like you talking directly to us, like even though this is an email, because I said 15 years ago, so that means it went on social media, y'all. It wasn't no Google, it wasn't no email. It was AOL. It was AOL. Y'all don't even know what AOL is, okay? So it was,
I know what you didn't
know. You know what I'm saying? And so I was sending emails and they were like, it feels like you talking to us, even though this is an email. So I was like, okay, let's call it Talking with Tanya. And so even though both my business that I had, it was a consulting business, and my nonprofit that I have, I dissolved both of those. I still kept the brand and the blog Talking with Tanya. And so, over the years, I still would put, as the technology changed, I would, emails to, they started doing mass email, like through Constant Contact. So then I did MySpace, and then eventually to when Facebook came out.
MySpace. It's still around too.
This might be a better place, but I'm older than what I look, okay?
Right.
And so, just starting, each time, and even like with what you said, staying committed to the journey. I could have easily gave up every time technology.
But so let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. What kept you on a journey? What kept you on?
I knew it was a couple of things. Number one, I knew I had something important to say. And I knew that my journey, like you said, we're not going through these journeys alone, these chronicles of living. We're not doing them alone and for not just doing it. And it's a reason behind it. So that was part of it. And the second part was number one, I'm a writer. Like, you're going to catch me all the time with a phone or something where I got my Google Notes and I'm taking some paper notes. So I'm by nature, I just love to write. And then 3, I would get back the responses when I did publish a post, when I did send out an email like, oh my God, you have no idea what this meant, what this meant. I mean, and that I needed it. And so for me, it's not about the millions. You know what I'm saying? Like if I do one person.
Can you say that again, Tanya?
for me, it's not about the millions. If I can help somebody, at least one somebody on their journey, on their course of living, on their path of what they're trying to do called purpose. If I can help them and I can help them, whether it's saving them, whether it's encouraging them, whether it's keeping them going, whatever it may be, if I can help that one person to figure it out, I did my job for that day. And that means my stuff was not for naught. My writing, my taking my time, it wasn't for naught. It had a whole purpose behind it, and I accomplished it. I fulfilled it. And so, like what you were saying, you keep going by knowing that other people need what you got. My dad always taught me that at a very early age. I'll be honest and tell y'all, I'm PK. I'm a preacher's kid, so we always was doing something. That's probably why I got started at 3.
Right.
But
exactly.
He would always tell us that we're not here by accident and we're not here just to be here. And whenever we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing and where we're supposed to be and in position, whoever was waiting on us, whoever was needing what we had to say, whoever was needing what we were going to do, we missed them.
Exactly.
And it won't be that they won't get the help, but it might come later when we could have been where we were supposed to be and doing what we were supposed to do, and it could have came faster.
Yeah.
And so that always sticks with me. And so that's why I always am one where I don't get caught up. I would love to have, a viral video. Like that would be bomb. But at the same time, I'm committed to the journey. You know what I'm saying? I'm committed to the responsibility because it don't happen overnight.
And the thing is, what people fail to realize once they get on their journey, or what keeps them away from their journey, I believe, is just that, them not believing in themselves because they're like, how am I going to get the numbers? Who's going to listen to me? Or who am I going to sell my product to? Or, things of that nature. Is it good enough? And, like
you said, one right there. Is it good enough?
Yes.
Listen, that's the whole word right there.
That's the thing, and can I stay committed? Like we said, can I stay committed? And the thing is, it's just about putting one foot in front of the other at the end of the day. Are you going to drop the ball every now and then? Of course. We're all human. We all are learning how to perfect whatever craft, whatever gift that God has blessed us with. We're all learning every day. We're learning about ourselves every day. And therefore, we just have to know that, like Tanya said, if you're reaching just one person, that one person, you don't know what will happen with that one person and how it is that because you fed that one person, what they will turn out to be, and that's where we as a collective need to learn how to not look at all of the how many likes, how many followers, how many, and that's why a lot of people don't connect with each other because of that simple reason. And it kind of reminds me of the whole high school situation. I had a show way back in the beginning, and it talked about how social media reminds me of high school. You got your bullies on social media. You have, you have your popular people on social media. You have your people that's like, oh, we're not going to follow them. They don't have as many people, so they're not popular. We have all of that. But what I've learned is some of the people that sometimes the people with the biggest number is just like, you're not getting nothing out of that. And sometimes the people with the smallest number, you can get everything out of that. You get what I'm saying? And so we got to stop looking at that and listen, learn to watch and learn to listen and see what you can get, what nuggets you can get from each video, from each Instagram page, Facebook page. What is it that you can learn from it, and pass it along, share, and that's what it's all about. So tell us, Tanya, what was the moment that you almost quit? We all, because we all had those moments.
So my first project, Mind Matters, is basically talking about that. It's not autobiography, but it is from the standpoint of me having written that 5 years ago before I had even published it. And I said to myself, I don't want anybody to ever go through what I'm going through and not be able to know how to get out of it, not be able to know how to talk to somebody dealing with it.
Right.
You know, literally, I lost my mind. Like I literally was ready to throw in the towel. It was just so much pressure, so much happening at one time, and I could not I couldn't find a way out, and I couldn't find a way out of my own head either,
Right.
because so much was going on that I went internal. You know, I'm a person. As an introvert, I go in, I don't go out.
Right.
And
Right.
So, you know, literally, I got in my own head, and I was like, no, I wasn't part of this life no more. Like, I was done. I was like,
Wow.
it's a wrap. Like, now, because it was just so much. Like, I got hit. And it wasn't like, you know how sometimes you get hit and you, okay, that's one thing. No. It was not one thing. It was multiple things. It was my health. It was work. It was finances. It was, you know, it was things that I didn't even think I thought I had experienced in Texas till I lived in a certain place. And I was like, oh no, this is real racism. Oh my God, I didn't know what racism was before. You know, stuff like that. It was, you know, finances, you know, I tell our testimony, me and my husband, that in our first 7 years of marriage, we went through 6 bouts of unemployment and layoff between the both of us. People, they be like, wait, say that one more time. I said, you heard me correctly. Yeah. I was like, so that, in addition, this was when the market crashed. So we was newly married right after the market. I was like, yeah, and so it's like I was hit with so much. I was hit with, you know, issues with my health, and you know, the challenges. Like the challenges that I already knew I had, but the stress like catapulted, and then now climbed that mud. Just was like, oh, you want to still work and function? No, we're not gonna do that. You know, so it was too much, and I literally made the decision. One night I had went to prayer, and literally I'm old school. The mothers, my bishop called the mothers like, "Nah, y'all pray for that girl, like, cause y'all don't know what she's dealing with." And I remember that still to this day, because if they had not prayed for me, I don't know what would have happened. And then I ended up signing up and going into therapy. I'm a big proponent of therapy as well.
That's great. That's great.
In the Lord, I believe in prayer, but I'm also going to work through this and process through this healing too. So I believe in therapy. So I took my test.
Multiple things. Don't you get healed in the right way?
So, and you know, and going through that, I had, like you said, how do you go when you want to stop? I had stopped. I hadn't been writing. I had not been blogging. And so I started took my old Sprint cell phone, and I started just taking notes. And I was like, I just kept saying, I don't want nobody else to feel like this again. I don't want nobody to ever feel like this. And I was saying, I don't want anybody that sees somebody to not know how to talk to them either.
Exactly. And that's another thing. Right there. That's the key thing. Holding things inside.
Like when you're dealing with mental health, you can't just tell somebody to snap out of it. No, boo-boo. That don't work. Okay?
Yes.
It's a whole different thing when it's mental health and it's on a real level. It ain't just go run 5 miles and you straight, or let's go eat ice cream. No, boo-boo.
Right.
No, so you got to figure out a way to not only talk to them, reach them, but also just be there, because sometimes you don't need to do nothing, but just be there for them.
Exactly. That's what I tell people, you know, sometimes. And I thank God that I think that's a gift, you know, to be there for someone when they need to talk, or when they need an ear, you know, to listen, or somebody to help them look at something in a different way. And I'm just grateful to God that I have that gift. And, you know, sometimes when you are a motivator and you are the life coach, it can be hard to find that somebody for you to have an outlet. And that is, for me, that has been that's been a journey for me. You know, I have a handful of friends, and what friends, you can have certain conversations with different friends. Every friend, has different personalities. So and if every friend has not experienced some of the things that you have. And out of my friends, I'm here to say, and this is not something like I'm proud of, but I have been through the most turmoil, I'll say that. But for some reason, I'm the one that they all call on, and it's because of the turmoil that I've been through and how I've been able to just get myself up out of the dirt time and time again. I believe that that's why they call me when they're going through and stuff like that. So sometimes, I can catch myself. I had a little meltdown earlier in the week, and I realized that my meltdown wasn't something that everybody can connect to. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So sometimes if you can reach out to somebody, they're not available, whatever, it's like you go internally. And if you're not strong enough, you might not be able to pull yourself out of that. And that's what happens with so many people, and so many people that are talented and so gifted. We never get to hear from them because of that very thing. You said you and your husband went through multiple layoffs and unemployment. Girl, I'm right there with you. I done moved, and now up to date since I relocated, it's been like a 2-move series. So I done added about a couple more moves to the notch, and in total, believe it or not, since a youth, I have moved. I'm up to about 53 to 54 times. Physically, I'm talking furniture, clothes, everything. Wow. I'm talking giving away the furniture because maybe I relocated to a different state and it's just too much to even, you know what I'm saying, to get through or whatever. I'm talking for real move. It could have been 3 months. We'll finish here because somebody crashed into my car. So that was one move, to move from Pennsylvania to Georgia with my cousin for a while till I got things together. There for 3 months, and then moved into my place that I'm in now, and just getting back on the horse and getting things together. So I see what you're saying. I had to take that little time off to myself, a couple months away from the podcast show and from everything, and kind of regroup and get things in order before I came back so that I could be me, and I'm still working through some things. But nevertheless, like you said, when you're going through and when you have a gift and you're called upon for that gift, that is what inspires you. And that is what fuels your fire to say, you know what, it's not even about me at this time, even though it is about me. I'm going to be about everybody else now. And it actually helps you. For me, it helps me. It helps me to regain my strength and my energy back. Because I'm fueling everybody else's fire, and I see that flame just growing and growing, and it just bounced back to me. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's a great gift that you have. And talking about your husband, like, how does he feel about the things that you're doing?
He's supportive of them.
Let's talk about that. He's like, that time out, Tanya. What you say now?
I said, I'm laughing. He's like, just as long as you're not expecting me to come up there with you. That's all. As long as you don't want me to get on mic.
He's shy.
No, not at all. I be telling him, I'm like, you talking more than me. So I don't even know how you playing, but I don't know. He's supportive of it. He basically, because of kind of his background in real estate, they had a real estate company. He's just not getting back into real estate. So we've learned through the years to help each other out with our strengths. So the strengths we offer and what we know we're strong at, that we try to offer for the other person in support. So right now he's back in the real estate. And so, what we found through the years is that it makes better sense for us to support each other from the strengths that we can offer to each other in our various businesses or work life or just in friendship. And so that has been a journey to figure out. But, so even now with him getting back into real estate, because I've been tackling social media for so long, I give him some little tips and feedback and help him with his Canva and stuff like that. I really
That's
like, now
great.
remember, I'm not a graphic person, but I can at least point you and tell you what to do, and then I help him, with different things, some of his writing of some of his programs and different things like that he's wanting to stand up and do. And then because he kind of is familiar with contracts and legal and all those type of things. So, and he's the wordsmith. So sometimes he'll finish my, he'll look over any of my contracts, or he'll review any of my books kind of when they're ready to go for final publishing.
Right.
He'll do his, seal of approval, like, okay, yeah, we good now. So we collaborate and partner with where we're strong, because it makes no sense for us to try and both be doing the same thing when one person is stronger in another area. So, that's it. I definitely, especially now that he's about to get back into real estate and even more, I don't expect him to be at every speaking engagement or, to be at every function or anything that I'm doing. But I will raise my hand and be like, look, I need some help. And I will say that, luckily we're back here in Texas, so we both have a lot more family here. And so a lot of times, my mom may be like, you need some help, you need me to come, or my little sister, or even some of my friends or cousins, they'll be like, I'm trying to get on the team because I want us to blow up. So I can't go work no more. And I'll be like, Lord.
That's right. They better get on before. Shoot, all them people that come after the fact. That's a great thing. Yeah. And also that is something good to talk on, because sometimes some people don't pursue their dreams and their visions because of that, because maybe their mate is not supportive and things of that nature, or just trying to figure out how is it that when you're in partnership with someone, how can you support each other, and there's no need for it to be a struggle or anything like that. As long as you touched on a very important thing, as long as you both utilize your strengths and bring them to the table to support each other. Because again, just like me and you, we're two different people. Although we're along the same journey and the same path, we still have different strengths, without us knowing it. We still have different strengths. So therefore, when you're in a partnership, a marriage, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever you may say, it is very important to be able to do that, to maybe have that conversation with each other and sit and say, okay, look, I feel like this is your strength. And this is something that I would love for you to share with me, and vice versa. I think it's important for couples to do that, because when you're a team like that, the empire just grows faster. It grows faster when you both aboard on the same mission. So that's very important. You are a preacher's child, and you come from the church, and that is something great to put on a resume. When you go for a job and they ask you your experience and say you go for a public speaking, yes, put that on a resume. I was a public speaker since the age of 3. People don't realize you can utilize those things for your resume. Who inspired you though?
I would say, so I'm gonna answer that question in 2 ways for you. So if you were to ask me who is a person that I admire or would be a mentor that would be famous, it would be, he's not alive anymore, but Dr. Miles Monroe. He pretty much just gets me of what I love and what I appreciate and what everything that I am about, which is purpose leadership. And he was able to do corporate and kingdom, and then just regular life at the same time.
Yes, I've listened to
so that would be a person I would say I admire and I look up to as a mentor. I probably got at least 25 of his books.
Right.
And then if you would say, so I've had the question that somebody says, well, if you were to compare like your style and who you look up to, or kind of your business or what you see for yourself in the future, I said, well, I'm going to give you 3 people, because this is how I feel like I'm a hodgepodge of what I know I am. And I was like, Ayana Van Zandt,
Mm-hmm.
And then E.T. the Hip Hop Preacher.
Okay,
and then,
I know.
of course, and then once again, Dr. Miles Monroe. I said, so if you put all three of them together, I feel that's where I see and what I would want to hope that the blend of each of them in their own right brings you the best I can offer in what I do in my business. But just on a regular, everyday basis, you know, I've had so many mentors in my life and people I look up to. My second project I did was called Things My Mama Said, and it was literally about the stuff my mama said and the life lessons we learned along the way. And because I got so much like love from that when I was already planning on it, but I'm doing a volume 2. And so volume 2 expands to not just my mom, but my granny. And I actually talked about my granny in the first book, some of her sisters, my sisters, aunts, role models, previous bosses, mentors, because I feel like anybody can give you some wisdom. Anybody can give you a life lesson if you just sit around for a moment and appreciate what they have to offer. It don't matter if it's the cafeteria lady, the janitor, or the person that's running the gas.
That's right.
Station. I look up to a lot of people because they have something to offer you. And, you know, I find it in a lot of areas and in a lot of ways. And, you know, I'm just big on that. Like, I respect who you are, not what you do. And if it's something you got to say, I'm like, wait, hold on, let me get my phone so I can take notes. Like, wait a minute, hold on, because you about to drop some nuggets and I want to chew slowly.
And you never know what people will become in the future. You never know. You know, when you listen to certain speakers that's big today and you listen to the jobs that they had before they became who they are, it's like you don't know who you're talking to. You don't know. And sometimes when people are nasty to people just because they work in a field that's not of their stature, you know, they can talk down or look down or things of that nature, and they don't know. They might be their boss one day. They just don't know. So you got to be real careful. You got to be, as they say, sometimes you can be entertaining angels and you don't even know it. And then you go to have a prayer and want a blessing and then wonder why, you know? So you definitely have to. So I know the time is running low. So Tanya, tell us, where can we find you? You know, where are your blog? Tell us about your blog and your books. Where can they get your books? Any social media?
Okay. Can I ask one question? Can I ask the question back to you?
Yes.
I'm like, wait a minute. I know we still got time, but I'm like, I want to know who you look up and who you admire.
Oh, I admire. Mm-hmm. Girl, I got a list. Number one,
I was like, wait a minute, she takes the most.
Number one, my grandpa, God rest his soul. He was the person to tell me, like, nothing is impossible. Nothing. You just have to push harder, work harder, research more, you know. And he was a cheerleader of mine. And he taught himself 5 different languages. So to know that he was able to do that for himself, it led me on that journey of self-teaching. And that's how I learned how to teach myself all the different things, building websites and branding and the things of that nature, just going for it. And just like, I want to do this, I want to do a podcast, or I'm just going to do it. You know what I mean? That's just my attitude. If I get something in my head, I'm just going to do it just because of that. My nanny, you know, my grandparents, my mom, she taught me how to, you know, be loving towards other people, you know. But I would say, celebrity-wise, I would say Les Brown, Joyce Myers, T.D. Jakes, Jim Rohn, Ziggy, Zig Ziglar. Oh my gosh, Tony Robbins. Girl, the list goes on. I used to ride up and down, back and forth from Georgia to PA, listening to audio CDs of these people speak so many years ago, before, like I said, before you, like you said, social media was all around, and it was just really CD, and the CDs came out, and the tape cassettes. I had tape cassettes.
Don't forget
you
about
know,
the
I'm telling my age, okay? Yes. But these are the people that were my virtual mentors. I'll say it that way because, I didn't grow up in an area where I had a lot of mentors, so just looking up to those people and certain people that came across my life, like you said, you get those little nuggets from different people. This one of my clients that I had, she was 96 years old, and she kept telling me, everybody would love to hear your story. You're motivating to me. You're the only one that could get me out of the bed. You should write a book. She was the one that actually pushed me to start my podcast show. My son is a great inspiration to me. Great inspiration. He's 21 now, but always, inspired me to not quit. Because that was my motto to him. So I couldn't quit because I kept telling him he couldn't quit. You start something, you got to finish it, And he was the one that was like, Mom, I think it'd be great if you put a blog together because you're very resourceful. So just different people along the path. And, friends that I've had, my friends, that they're very supportive of what I do. They're my cheerleaders, and whatever crazy idea I have, they'd be like, go girl, you can do it. So I'm just grateful. I'm grateful to have people in my life because you know how it is. You can't always find those cheerleaders. Not everybody has a cheerleader. And so we have to look towards the virtual cheerleaders like me and Tanya. If you don't have nobody in your corner, look us up and listen to us and see what nuggets you can get out, from us. So, absolutely. Any other questions you have for me?
I did, but maybe we have to do a part 2 because I don't want us to go longer than what we're supposed to go. But I definitely have enjoyed it because, literally, just when you started talking and sharing about who's been there for you and what they've been doing and how they've gotten to there, your smile, your face. I was like, oh yeah, they mean something.
Right.
Especially when you talk about your grandpa. I was like,
yes, my boo-boo.
Yeah. So, that's kind of that.
My grandpa was,
said, the question.
Yeah. I think that's how it's going on. My grandpa was the most stable man in my life. I'm going to say that. He showed me what a stable man looks like. And I taught my son in that aspect, so prayerfully he grows up that way. So I think that's probably why I look at him so much because he showed me what a stable man is, that's going to be there for you so that I have something to raise my son after and something for me to look after, I'll say it that way, but I want you to tell the people, because we got a couple more minutes, where can they find you and where are your books? How can they get at you?
Absolutely. So if you go to TanyaJMiller.com, that's TanyJMiller.com, all of the links to there, but the direct link to my store is that shop.TanyaJMiller.com. You can get the books, you can get journals, you're watching us, you'll see my lovely shirt I have on. I have what I call message merch. So I have apparel, buttons, coasters, different things to reinforce the messages that are part of my brand. You can also go to school.TanyaJMiller.com. You can get my online courses on life and leadership there. If you join my fam at bit.ly, all caps, join fam, you get 20% off your first order at the store. And then talk with Tanya on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. That's where I'm at. Would love for you to come connect and be a part of the fam.
That's great. So guys, I'm definitely going to have all her links at the bottom of the show, wherever you're listening, wherever you're watching, you're going to find the links to get at Tanya and Miss Tanya Miller. We are so happy that you came on to join us and to talk with us. We really, really appreciate your presence, and we look forward to doing another show later on down the line. This is just the beginning of me talking to people and bringing them back on the show. I've been promising the listeners my visionary dreamers forever. And I'm blessed to have a great list of folks to reach out to And I'm just excited as to what is to come, and how my visionary dreamers and your listeners, your Talk with Tanya listeners and viewers are going to take to this show. And I'm just grateful to you. Thank you, sister.
Thank you. Thank you as well. I'm excited for your next chapter because it's going to be amazing.
Yes, both of our next chapters, girl, going to be amazing. And I want to say this before we go. Staying committed means showing up for yourself. Showing up for yourself, however that needs to be. I was telling Tanya, we have been going through our schedules and it's just been like back and forth. And I wanted to get my hair did and it didn't happen. And I'm just like, look, I'm still going to show up, okay? Because we got to do the damn thing. And so I just want people, you guys out there to know, show up. Just show up. No excuses. We got to show up. And that is 2020 for me. I got to get back on my no excuses and just show up and let the magic happen from there. So without further ado, guys, this is ADionne and this is Tanya Miller. And you are listening and viewing Chronicles of Livin podcast show with your host, ADionne, Dream Pusher Lifeguard, saving you from yourself, from the world, from some real bullshit, y'all. And we just here, us extraordinary folk, doing the damn thing the best way we can. And until next time, peace out. We love y'all. Deuces. Thank you for listening to Chronicles of Livin, where we talk to everyday people about everyday things in the past, present, and future. And if you are pursuing your dreams, I'm proud of you. Because the best part of life is when you decide to live. To keep up with us, please visit chroniclesoflivin.com. Until next time, this is ADionne, your dream pusher. I love you guys.